chat about this concept of the sister circle and friendship. How you can really have a circle of friends, not just for a minute, not just for a week, but for a long time. It's been 10 years, right?
Over 10.
Over 10 years. And so I watch this group of girls get together. I see them on Instagram. I see them celebrating and having fun and going on trips and doing all the things. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to invite them to talk about what it has meant for them to honor their sister circle. If you don't know what a sister circle is, it's simply in whatever sphere of life you live in, work, home, your neighborhood, your job, the women that you run with, just women that you see that you want to make intentional, an intentional effort to get with and to go deeper, not to just be on the surface, but to say you have permission to be in my life, to speak into my life, for us to hold each other up and hold each other accountable. And I think you all have done that. So what we're going to start with is just letting them introduce themselves so that you kind of know who we're talking to before we jump into our conversation. So we'll start with you.
I'm Sheila Stoutmire.
I am Joy Hill.
I am Celia Drummond.
Sara Madson Miller.
Millicent Finney.
Tammy Franklin.
Sherice Brown. And
Okay,
we're missing a few girls.
Okay, who are we missing?
We're missing Pat Smith.
Okay.
We are missing Donna Richardson. And we're missing Milani Ishmael.
Okay, so then this group is 10 strong.
It's 10 strong.
10 strong. Okay, so first of all, how did y'all even decide? And Priscilla, you're in my sister circle.
I'm in your sister.
Like literally.
We're not going to feel left out today. We have each other.
After they leave, we'll drink some coffee.
That's right.
I'm staying.
Just, I have multiple sister circles, which you can actually.
But honestly,
Yes.
a beautiful thing about their circle is that it's so not exclusive, that they're intentional about each other. But I'm also friends with all these women. You're also friends with these women. So there's something beautiful about cultivating this that actually makes their reach and their other friendships richer and more beautiful and connected to other people.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's beautiful.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want you to know, we didn't get the pink memo that they were wearing. I said, what should we wear? I said, cute and casual. And then Tammy said, we're going to do pink.
We're doing it because Millicent said we're doing it.
I know, pink hands.
I want to know, how did you guys even start to have this friendship? Because some of you have been friends longer than that.
Yeah.
You've known each other, but how did you guys start to have this?
Well, some of us were friends already, but this started with Joy.
Yeah, I was watching Joni Lamb on Daystar one day, and she had on a guest, Pamela Hines, out of where's she from? Milwaukee. And she did something at her church where some women got together to pray. And I'm laying there watching. It's like, man, that'd be so cool if I could be a part of something like that. And clear as day, I heard the Holy Spirit say, "Why don't you do it?" And I'm like, how am I going to do it? I don't really. He's like, just start it. And so Pat, I think I reached out to Pat first. Well, Tammy and I were praying. We were like, we become organic prayer partners.
On Mondays.
On Mondays, yeah. Every Monday we would pray.
And it was just the two of you.
Just the two of us, yeah. And then the Lord had spoken that whole thing to kind of broaden it, and I talked to Tammy about it, and then I reached out to Pat because she and I went to the same church, and then I was like, each one reach one, and before we knew it, we had this group of women, and what we had in common is that, we were all married at the time, and then you want us to be real.
I mean, yes.
The dynamics have changed since then. We could probably get into that later, but at any rate, we were all married, and all of our husbands were at some level, really building up their careers, and they were gone traveling or whatever a lot, and we just had that in common. We wanted to pray for our spouses. That was the focus. The focal point was for us to pray for our husbands. And so once a month, we would go from house to house, and we would pray for each other. And I had strict rules. We couldn't eat. We couldn't have no fellowship. And like, where's Priscilla got going on over there?
Changed, yeah. Slightly changed as well.
And tissue. And you could play.
Which I think is great, because I think the reason why a lot of women don't start is because they think that. They think they have to be a hostess, or their house has to be gorgeous, or they have to be able to cook, and so they just won't do it because they think, oh, well, all this stuff has to go along with it. But you're saying y'all just showed up, drank some water.
It happened one time, and I had to shut it down.
Because you wanted to be intentional about the purpose of
That's right.
Absolutely.
And I think that's so cool that the friendship started around one purpose that suited everybody in the group.
Right.
So like if there's
At the
mothers
time.
at the
And it's
time,
changed, right.
so that if there's mothers with toddlers and what y'all need to do is get 5 of y'all together so your kids can play and y'all can have some adult conversation for once in the month. That common ground is enough to start what
That's
could be a
Yeah.
friendship that morphs over time.
Yep.
And through
I know a
different
group of women
seasons.
who are single who their whole thing is my married friends can't get up and go when I can. So I want to travel. Do y'all want to travel? And that's been their whole thing. And they plan a trip every year to do that together.
And even when we come together, it's you don't have to be like made up or anything. Sometimes we come in sweats. No,
That's right.
typically we're gonna
Straight from
cry
workout.
anyway. So you know, it's no makeup.
No
and,
makeup.
You know, or you bring your makeup with you because you got a meeting afterwards. But we just, you know, just kind of come as you are, basically.
So when you decide to start a group, even if it's around prayer, there's still that barrier though of transparency that you have to work on. So you knew each other, but you're inviting other people, and transparency has to grow over time. Authenticity, your willingness, each person individually, to share, either in just chatting or through prayer, what I really need to pray about, how I really need you to pray for me. Was that difficult at all? Was that something that maybe some of you had to work at or work through a little bit longer than others? Because I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, that y'all didn't start out with everybody just telling all their stuff.
No.
I think we evolved.
Right.
You know, there was like she said, it was really focused on prayer, and then the transparency came out. It was birthed out of that. So as we continued to get together, our trust grew. We have not had anybody to violate that trust.
Not once.
Not once
10 years.
in over 10 years, and that's key because you can't create the transparency without the trust. And we've been able to build that, and it's been very safe.
That's so great.
We've been able to feed off of each other, because I know God doesn't take you through things without being able to share that testimony with someone else. And we found in situations that when we're sharing, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same
too.
thing.
Yeah.
Me too. And it just, the floodgates just open, because we're all, oh my gosh, you know, I thought it was just me.
Y'all cry a lot. Y'all talked about crying.
Oh, we cry. We cry a lot. Yeah. Like if we make it through this without crying, we'll be good.
I think one of the reasons why we were able to get to transparency so quickly, honestly, because it didn't take a long time to get there, is because of the rules that were set. It's 1 hour. We're coming in, we're praying. Come as you are. We're not eating, we're not fellowshipping, we're just coming to strictly pray. And come in, let's get in it. And it's not, we followed Pamela Hines' book.
We did at first.
We did, yeah.
Read her book, and then we would pray, and everybody, if they had something to submit to the Lord, they would submit it, and we would take turns praying for one another. And it was just because it was so real, and we have 1 hour, let's make it an intentional hour. I think that's how we got to trust so quickly, and trusting one another so quickly.
Somebody heard you say that, and they want to know what's the name of the book. What's the name of that book? Pamela Hines' book. Do you know?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
The Praying Wife.
The Praying Wife.
Yeah,
The Praying Wife. And honestly, her book has prayers throughout, and it's specifically for different things. And I think people starting out, you know, maybe fresh, and they're just kind of nervous. You know, we kind of went through, you know, based on the book at first, and then it just, like Millicent said, it just organically, you know, we don't use a book anymore. We just,
We come
Do you
with
still
it.
get together just for prayer?
Yes.
Once a month?
Yes.
Okay.
We
And
take
then
the summers off.
you take the summers off, but you get together once a month for prayer.
Yes.
But now you do lots of other things
Right.
too together. So what are some of the other ways that you intentionally
we always did. We always,
You always did.
We were all we were friends. I mean, Sara and I became closer friends through prayer. But Celia and I have been friends for years. Joy and I have been friends for years. I introduced Joy to Sherice,
And Pat and I were friends.
yeah. So
Sheila through the prayer group, somebody, what about you? Who brought you in?
Birthday party, roller skate park.
yeah.
But we already knew each other from church.
And you know, we didn't
You and I were last.
start.
I met you at my first prayer at when it was at
Tammy's,
that was the first time meeting you, but I knew everyone else. But you said it brought us all closer together. But even that was our first time meeting. It was like, damn, like okay, now we're sisters in Christ.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think too, he'll organically just shape it to what it's supposed to be, because we did have, some other people, and it just organically became the 10 of us. And so, and that's okay, okay too.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to even tell him like, yeah, you're not gonna fit. That's not might be what we thought. Way too many questions.
Right. You want to take it too far.
That's not breaking the rules.
But you know what, Joy, you say something because we have had people who want to be a part of the group.
That's true. Yeah.
And we've had to deal with that, because I believe once you create that trust, it's hard to bring.
And once you're building it, that's one
from
thing.
feeling like you all are a clique.
People have said that.
I think we passed it now.
Because that's not your intention. You guys are all very friendly people, but you're saying we have this group, the 10 of us, and we've got something going. And it's not that, again, I want to clarify to make sure people know that for those of us that know you, it's very clear that y'all are intentional about the things you do together. But you also have very broad friendships that extend to many other people, and you hang out with other people.
Yes.
But at the same time, when folks say, I want to be a part of this in terms of the monthly
Can I pray with y'all? Can y'all pray for me?
Yeah. And we do. We pray for you. How do you sort of?
And you know what we started doing though? We encourage them to create their own groups.
Good.
Versus saying you can't join this one, but create your own circle. We're willing to help you.
Right.
We gave out information. Here's what we use.
Yeah.
So
But you can tell people's intentions, and I think we've just been so
discernment.
careful to protect what we have. There has to be some level of protection, because we go really deep.
We do.
This is our safe place.
I tell you, and because of who we are, who we're married to, and things like that, who we're married to. Anyway, parentheses. So we have to protect that.
We have to protect it.
And some people have wrong motives who wanted to be a part of the prayer group.
And we're
I want
very
to go to
protective.
Sharice's house. I want to go to Tammy Franklin's house.
Right.
Yeah, but I think too, to lovingly, I know I've had to lovingly say, we have built a trust together.
Right.
And there's, when we have trust like that, then you have to protect that. And we're not trying to, say that we're this clique and we're going to exclude you, but there's a trust we've built here. And, and some people, I think if their intentions were pure, they get that. And if they weren't, then they may be like, oh, okay.
I've had people come to me and say the same thing. That's cliquish, and and you guys don't let people in, and it's hard because I defend. And I don't even come back and share it with them. I just kind of tell them that
I think we all probably
definitely not what it is. Oh my gosh, the conversations. Not lately. I think it was.
We passed
that. I think people just kind of understand, and they haven't come to me with that. But I did have a friend that was like, "Yeah, I've heard all y'all do is sit up and talk about each other or talk about people." I said, "Well, that is not true." I said, "That has never happened, not one time." I said, "We come together, we pray about our husbands, we pray for our children, we pray for each other's family members." I said, "There's never been a time that I've had a conversation with them.
We got enough of our own stuff to be talking about somebody else."
So that kind of hurt me, because it was almost like I had to be.
Because they're questioning your integrity.
Because they're questioning my integrity as a person, and I actually had to separate myself from a couple of people for that reason. Because please don't lie on us. Just don't do that. That hurt me to my core.
The interesting thing about it, like to your point, Priscilla, we get together like once a month to pray or for birthdays, and then we might not see each other until the very next month or the next time we get together and pray, because we all have lives that are
busy lives.
very, very busy lives, and we're coming and going. We all have other groups of friends that we involve in our lives or involved in certain ways, but it's just the organic group of this people, these 5 or 10 people that the Lord has put together. And we're not all alike. We're all definitely different. It's just that God put us together to pray.
And I was going to say the core of this group of women is prayer.
Prayer.
Now, I wanted to ask, so when you get together for birthdays. That's in addition to the prayer.
Yes.
That's in addition to the prayer. So
They go to Grand Lux Cafe and they post their pictures all together. They're all lined up.
No, they all
Order the same food. Same food.
And they post a little picture for all the rest of the
And we were first the same way.
The same waitress. She knows our order.
Jackie.
So let me ask you this. So you're getting together to pray. That is the core of the circle of friends. You get together to celebrate each other for birthdays. And so, like, dumb question, but inquiring minds want to know. Is there, like, do you have to give each other gifts every birthday? Like,
Yes.
is there?
Yes.
That's our love language.
It's given, yes.
So y'all are all gift givers.
Yes.
You're celebrating whoever's birthdays are that month.
Yes.
Usually, well, there's
We have two sets that are paired.
Yeah. Pat and I are
December.
and then Celia
and Milani are
January. Okay.
and then Donna and I are only a few days apart, so.
Yeah.
So
And then
everybody
we're the
comes
summer
with gifts
babies.
for the one person or the two people who's
Yes.
birthday that month.
So if
coming
nobody
next
else
In December, I'm just gonna show up.
You're gonna call Grand Lux and like, what day is the party?
I have a friend of mine that said, she said, it was a couple years ago, she said, let's make a pact this year. I got you for your birthday and you got me because she said, my husband may forget, my kids may forget, but I just need somebody to remember my birthday.
Well, let me
So
tell
I
you
think
what's
that's
so
great that you
funny
do that.
about us because, like, for me, my birthday was last week. Yay! Thank you. But I told them, like, it doesn't matter what my family does because I had my time with my girls.
And
So I'm good.
Like a time of refreshing.
It is.
Especially because we haven't seen each other. Like summers are really hectic, and we're always gone. I miss Sheila's and Millicent's most of the time. Primarily because Sheila's birthday is
The
close to
summer
my
babies,
anniversary.
yeah.
So I'm always gone, and then Millicent
I hit around Hall of Fame.
and you know there's
It's
just
always
certain
something.
key things that are happening, and I miss theirs.
And well, can I say something real quick and it's transparent about the whole birthday thing? So I don't think I ever told anybody except for Sharice's, but now I'm telling the world.
Yeah, that's what we're after.
Yeah. All right. So I just relocated back to Dallas a year ago, and I remember the very first birthday luncheon that we were gonna have when I came back. I called you. Was it me?
It was me too.
Okay.
So you should have called all of us.
Okay, because I was feeling some kind of way. My whole situation had changed. My finances had changed, and I felt like I couldn't afford to buy a gift like.
She assumed we all were buying these expensive.
Yes, and so and I didn't want to come empty-handed, and so I got rebuked by my friends who love me and said, "We're not here. We don't need to come just for your gift. Like we love you. That's beautiful, and we just want your presence. Your presence is a present.
That's right.
And so that changed the whole scheme of things. So now I go to CVS and get y'all gift. No, I'm kidding.
You say that because that's really where the question is coming from. That people who either gift giving is not their love language, or they do feel financial pressure. Okay, if I'm in a group, then that means I gotta always. So I'm curious. Even though you were freed up by your friends, say no, your presence is a present. Was that completely freeing just to hear that?
It absolutely
And
was.
so you were like,
I was feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, we talked about it again.
Yeah, I came late. I came late to the lunch that day because I wasn't planning on coming.
I think one time, like, she was still at the house, and I was like, "Joy, come on! It's not even about that. It's about getting together. Is what's important.
Definitely.
But that's
And she was assuming that everybody was possibly spending a lot of money, and I'm like, "Girl, no! I'm going to Sam Moon sometimes.
bargain shopping.
No.
That's awesome.
But that's another point is that we have been there and love each other through different seasons because sometimes we can give and sometimes we can't. Sometimes we can be there all the time and sometimes we can't.
You got to give each other just grace.
You have to give grace.
Okay, here's what I want to know. I want a specific example of a time when there was conflict in the group, whether it was between three of you or just two of you, and everybody had to sort of work through some area of this right here. We're not going to let this act like this is not happening. Just some area of conflict.
You see all the little whispers that just happen?
I know.
Can we talk about that? Are we in agreement? Like that's what.
Let's see.
Honestly, we don't have talk much, but
No.
when we do, I think that we have formed such a relationship that we can go to that person. You know,
People have gotten. Well, I think the important part, people's feelings have gotten hurt in the group. We all know that people's feelings have gotten hurt. And those people have brought it to
the table. They
to
have.
the table.
Have you found that those hurt feelings have been centered around feeling left out?
Supporting.
Supporting. Okay.
Supported. Because honestly, I'll just say it. I had a challenge for a while when we weren't being consistent in prayer, and it was really, I struggled with it because everybody was just in different seasons of their life, and people were going and just couldn't commit to the time, and it grieved my spirit because I was like, I need this. This is like near to me. If I'm going to make the time, why aren't you all making the time? So we had to have a meeting. So
We had to have a meeting. We sure did.
a meeting to talk.
We had a business meeting. We had a business meeting.
I was on FaceTime.
That's right. That's right. Oh
I
yeah.
feel like Mama Bear like, look.
Yeah. It was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was like 3
She
hours.
was like, y'all don't miss a birthday.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Eating that cake.
Yeah.
And that's my cake.
Lemon.
But you know, I think
We got to hear from Sheila though, because Sheila's kind of quiet over there, but I feel like you got a whole lot to say, Sheila.
What do you think about that meeting that day?
I like the meeting because I felt like some of us were kind of like, you know, are we going to do this or not?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to do it. And then remember, I said,
She lives in Oklahoma.
if you come once a month at least, from Oklahoma to pray, and then again,
She's prosper, not literally.
I mean, it's still Oklahoma.
yeah, I'm farthest north.
Okay.
But I said, if we're not going to do prayer, we're not going to do the birthdays. I mean, because if we're going to get together and celebrate each other, we still need to be praying with each other.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, by text, can you pray this? No, we need to get together and go in.
Yeah.
And just like how we have a great time celebrating, that's how I felt. And Joy was like, you know, that's right. So at that time when we had our business meeting, we decided, no, we're going in. We're going to keep doing what God's taught us to do. Joy's vision, you know, this was her circle getting us together, and we had a really good thing going on. And I just felt like, you know, I need them. I mean, this is an organic thing. It's sacred, like we talked about. Everyone's transparent, and I have another good group of friends, but there's nothing like what we have. And if it was going to end then, I mean, I would have felt lost. Like, these are my girls.
But we all had to see too, and I think Sara and I probably were the most sensitive at that time, but it helped me to understand that, like in any Christian walk, sometimes you're on and sometimes you're not, and that's what was happening, with us, and I had to really show a place of grace because. It wasn't like I was just mad, but I was like, my feelings were hurt.
You were hurt because y'all weren't meeting, or you were hurt because other people were like, what's the deal?
Not prioritizing.
We weren't prioritizing.
You know what's so interesting about this, and Chrystal, I know you need to move on to the next thing, but what's so interesting is as you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking about how, it sounds so, sometimes what you're describing, business meeting, coming together, trying to figure this out once a month, whatever. The intentionality of it can sound so structured that it almost feels like the organic nature of friendship is taken out of it at times. But listen to what I'm thinking. Sometimes in marriage, it's like when you get married, it's all the butterflies and just blah, blah, blah. And then you come to a point sometimes where actually you just have to be intentional about it. You know what? On Monday night is the date night.
Right, that's
or
right.
this night is the night we're getting the kids out of the house and we're going to turn some romantic music on because we're doing the thing tonight.
That's right.
And it starts to sound a little surgical because you've got to be intentional.
That's right.
I'm serious. I'm just looking at y'all's friendship and I'm like, if you're going to be intentional about friendship as life gets busier and you have children and you're traveling and all that,
Then you prioritize.
you're going to have to go through seasons when you're like, actually, we're doing it like this to make this thing keep flourishing.
That's right.
And go the distance.
That's right.
Over the long haul of life.
So, and I know you asked the question about conflict, and we went into the importance of priority, but I want to know what you would say to the woman or the girl who's watching and saying, but see, I just can't, and I'm sure you heard it, I can't do women. Women, there's just too much conflict. I've tried.
Yeah.
Do you feel that what we're discussing, which is the commitment and the communication, is what makes the difference? I mean, have you all always been good with women? Have you ever had a challenge in friendships? Was this really that different? What makes it different? I mean, we talked about prayer, but a lot of women say that. They're just like, I can't, I tried, and it's just trauma.
Yeah.
Wow. I think if you have God as your center, I'm not trying to be funny, truly living to serve the Lord, you don't get that. I mean,
choose
you
not to
choose
get it.
not to get that.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's the Holy Spirit that guides your tongue or guards your heart, whatever it is, I honestly think that has a lot to do with it, because I came from California. I had no friends. It was just my husband's family. And I am so blessed to have this group of ladies in my life, because when I tell you, you come from somewhere where you know no one, and you have no one to talk to share those things with that you're going through. The one thing that we would have in common is that some people can't relate to your lifestyle like Tammy may be able to relate to, or Sheila, because she knows the ins and outs, the ups and downs of being an NFL wife. You know, those are things that are important. I can call Sheila and say, girl, X, Y, and Z is going on, what you think? Or, you know, pray with me about this, or pray for me. Where someone else, I'd say that to someone, they'd be like, girl, what you got to complain about? You know, not knowing there's more. And I can't be transparent with everyone. That's why it's such a blessing to have these ladies, because I know I can say, I'm going through this and I need you for this, and they're there.
And they're willing to pray, but they also get it.
But they also get it.
And I've also seen y'all run to each other's to support each other.
Yeah.
What I mean is emotionally, when your sister
Yes.
died, you know what I mean, or all that you've been through, joy, and you know, the things that you've been through in the past year.
Definitely.
Just I've watched y'all just get around each other and go, you know, whether it's financial support, whether it's bringing meals over, whether it's being there so you can literally lay your head on my shoulder and cry. I've watched y'all do that, and that's been a beautiful thing to know you're going to have that when it's your turn, because we all going to have a turn to go through stuff, to know you have that.
I think too, what kind of feeds cattiness within women is fear, and I don't know how.
That's great.
There's no fear in this group, and I think that's what we feel.
That is so great.
I'm most holy. But I think that when we all came together, because we didn't know each other. You know, I just think you didn't feel that fear. I think I was one of the last people to join the group, and I don't know how y'all got me. You probably wish I didn't spill my guts to y'all every month, but I don't know what it is. There's just no fear in this group. It's our safe place. We say it all the time. It's our safe place. And it's our doctor's appointment every month.
What about comparison?
What do you mean?
With each other situation. Because I'm just thinking through what some women will say are the barriers for them. The catty stuff, and I understand that. Not trying to over spiritualize it, but saying, you know what, not only are we here for prayer, but we're here really just as a part of our spiritual life. Like we're gathering in a spiritual community, and that's more important than the cattiness. Comparison is another reason that women will say, I just, you know.
Do you have to guard yourselves personally against looking at one of the other members in the group that might be doing something or having something or experiencing something that honestly you would really love, but
you're not?
Yeah, you're not. Maybe whether it's a financial security that particular member has, or whatever. I don't know. Is there any? You have to guard against any sort of.
I think it's got to be God, because I mean we've all been through stuff. And I mean me personally, we've been through a lot financially in the last probably 5 years, and I don't know how. It just doesn't even make sense, and it probably sounds like I'm not even telling the truth, but
you are the most holy one. That's what you said. You did say you're the most holy.
I'm the most holy. So, but how the Lord wouldn't allow my heart to be like, oh, you know, you get to do this or get to have that. I don't know. It just doesn't happen. At least not for me.
It doesn't happen.
It hasn't for me. I mean, we've been through a lot.
Like I love each and every one of these women like they were my blood.
Come on, tissue.
So I can't even imagine what life would be like without them in my life. Like for real. So I had a major transition in my life, and I had a choice where to move. I was leaving Denver, and I was either going to choose Dallas, Atlanta, or Boston. And it was like, quickly, Dallas, because
my family.
honestly, this is where my circle of love is. Not to say I don't have my love in Atlanta and my love in Boston, but I knew, and they like Priscilla said, they hovered over me like mother hens and made sure that I was okay. I mean, from getting me money to pay my attorney, to making sure I had furniture in my house, to unpacking, to making sure Jonathan and I were okay. And, you know, Priscilla was a part of that circle with my transition this year too, and just making sure that I was covered, you know, and because it was a huge transition. But because of this circle right here, I was like, I'm okay. I'm going to be just fine, like for real. And, you know, besides that little hiccup I had with that pride of like, well, I can't afford to live. Other than that, like, I knew that things are going to be okay, because I could call any one of these girls, any one of them at any time, and they were all there for me.
That's so great.
You know, I just a reminder of the scripture that says there is no fear in love.
Yes. And I think we've all have chosen. To me, it's a choice.
Yes.
We all have chosen love over fear or comparison or anything like that. You know, not that we don't go through things individually. Right. I mean, this is going to sound really trivial, but I'm short, and so.
She doesn't mean that metaphorically. She's literally.
But I mean, you know, the enemy does stupid stuff like that. I mean, they're all tall and gorgeous. I went through a moment of, you know, I always had to wear heels so I could feel like, yes, I did. I mean, I know I'm cute and everything. I'm like, you know, I was like, no, I'm gorgeous. You know, I'd make sure I had on heels. But I mean, that's something internally with Tammy, you know. But I mean, and it sounds really trivial. Girl, now I'll come if I want to in some flip flops and be totally
And I don't think that's trivial. I think that's a very real woman thing, that when we're around other women, we automatically recognize something about their stature that's not what we have.
Yeah, I'm the fluffy one of the group.
I was gonna say,
I'm fluffy.
Oh, please.
And
no,
I'm
fluffy too.
I'm fluffier. And but you know what? These women, they're always flooding with compliments, and I don't think it's
your legs are amazing.
Yeah, I got pretty legs. Each other, whether it's from our hair to our lashes to our legs or whatever, you know, and we always just lift each other up and make each other feel so good. Like when I leave these women, I feel like I'm the prettiest girl in the world. Like, I do. I love it.
I think more racially too, to be honest. Yeah, I'm the girl that's not black.
You're not black?
That is the furthest thing from our mind. I
It
think
is
you're black.
now too, but at the beginning I was like,
Where do you fit in?
where will I fit in?
And you fit right in.
Wow.
and it's so funny, Celia, because like
Not even look at you.
thought about that ever.
Never ever.
Actually, someone asked me that about this.
Wow. Where are they?
And where are they? Priscilla, I'm the shortest one. What'd they say?
I mean, just, you know, do they accept you, or you just one of the group? And I was like,
What the group?
yeah, and it just fed my own insecurities.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But it's, you know, I've never felt, there's some things I can't relate to, but, you know, that's about it.
Yeah.
I've never felt insecure or weird about it, but it's true.
Well, I would agree with like Tam. I felt maybe not about being short because I'm shorter, maybe just a few inches taller, but I have felt insecure about work. That my hustle is real, and I can't stay. I can't stay for lunch. I gotta.
Yeah, I get that.
I gotta.
That's good.
It's a constant. You know, we own our own business. It's a constant. And it never stops. You're always thinking about it. So I have felt insecure of. Man, I gotta go. I can't be around. I can't always be or stay. So I get that insecure moments of it. But to the point of comparison, it's just the focus is prayer.
Right. Right. Right.
It's always about God and how can we lift each other up. When we get out of our minds kind of and doing too much, somebody always pulls us back.
It's about prayer. It's about prayer.
I love that. I mean, you use the word the choice, and I think that's the thing, because really comparison stems out of insecurity.
Yes.
So it's not that there aren't insecurities. The issue is that before it bubbles up and chokes something else out, the love that you have says, this is how far this goes. And I'm going to choose to keep showing up, and I'm going to choose to love anyway, and I'm going to choose to keep celebrating my sisters, because what we have is, it should overshadow, it should overshadow how I'm feeling in this moment.
And to that person that, you mentioned earlier, that's like, I don't do girls. I think they need a mind shift. And, like me, at first it was just me and Joy. We weren't even necessarily thinking about a group. Maybe you find that one person, and that's your prayer.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be 10.
It doesn't have to be 10. No.
I mean, Jesus said 12. It doesn't even have to be 12.
And it also doesn't have to be prayer. That if you want to intentionally center a core group of friendship around something else, that's okay. That's your. Not that I don't think everybody should have a prayer group. That would be awesome.
Right.
But also, if somebody's like, I actually need a play date. Like I'm thinking about the mother of small children. I am.
You want to pull your hair out.
All day with 3 little kids. And sometimes you need to be intentional that I need 2 other mothers that come over on Tuesdays. We let our kids play, and I have a minute to talk.
Some adult conversation.
Yeah, that's important.
It really can
It's
be
like a lifeline.
There was a group of women who, I think they met at our church, but they would get together every Saturday to bike through Cedar Hill. And she said, and then we pray before they bike, just kind of as a courtesy, Lord, protect us so we don't bust our faces. But what she said was, because we saw each other every week, and because we were intentional about making that a priority, we organically knew what was happening in each other's lives. And that spilled over into showing up for other things. It just became a part of it. So to your point, I think the key is intentionality. The key also sounds like knowing that you're loved and that you love, and that you choose to let that choke out the fear. And just keep showing up.
And be accountable.
And
Accountability is another really big part of it. Because of the trust has been built, we can go to one another and say, hey sis, hey sis, have you thought about this? Have you considered this? Or man,
could challenge each other.
I'm so glad you said that, because that was actually one of the very specific things I wanted to ask you. In what ways, if you can share, have you needed accountability, or have your sisters held you accountable?
Definitely accountability. I think definitely in relationships. Like I said, when Tammy and I first started out, we would talk a lot about marriage and just how to be godly wives. That's where a lot of our accountability, was. I know Sherice and I have had many, many conversations. And now that I'm on the single side of things, I definitely need accountability.
You were getting something before we started talking. She really was.
I definitely need prayer partners. Because she's fine. Because I have a friend, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing things the godly way, and so, but I'm human, and I'm human. But I have my girlfriends that I can trust and go to, and no judgment, and they're like, okay, Joy. And
because it's not even a matter of prayer. Y'all walked in here, y'all got coffee, and then the conversation was like, all right, how's this going? Keep it up. I mean, it was just jumping in because you all have earned the right. You know what's happening as you get together, and you earn the right to speak specifically and directly to an issue because they know you.
I really love too when you guys said you get together specifically for prayer, but when you get together, you can just be yourselves, and you come without makeup and all that stuff. Because the truth is, you all are a very intimidating group.
You're very beautiful group.
You're very beautiful. You're very put together. You're doing well. You know what I mean? And people look at you and kind of go, everything to the premise. Everything. They do. They're looking at you guys kind of like, wow. It's important for them to know that it's just we don't. You're not always in pink together. Coordinated, are you? Yes. Okay.
Always color coordinated.
No. Sometimes his tears start at the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Someone can ask you, how are you doing? And
You just flood. Just
all the way down.
I just can't wait to get here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real.
Or you get to learn each other's personalities. You know, some people have personalities where when they're going through something, they kind of go back.
Isolation.
And so we've been together long enough to where we're like, you got to go get them. Or we'll check on them privately or you know, all together. But it's loving each other through transitions. You know, we were wives' prayer first,
And
you
now
know,
we're-
and now we're sisters' prayer.
Yeah.
You know, which I think I love even more. You know, I'm getting ready to go through an empty nest, and so I'm being transparent about my fears of that and trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do next and things like that. And so I think the accountability comes with the more you're willing to be honest and open about what you're going through.
Yeah.
And sometimes we know we've been together so long, like somebody just dropped in my spirit. I'm like,
Very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
you good over there? You know, I mean, they're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, you know, when you get those confirmations, you begin to act on them more. Like, oh, now I know why.
There's a soul connection.
It's a soul connection. Absolutely.
I'll get text messages, especially from Sarah, and it's like it'll just hit me, and I'm like, okay, how does she know
Yeah.
that I'm over here just struggling today? And it'll just come, and it brings such a smile to my face because you know you're that connected. You know she's just in tune with me, and I'm like, thank you, Lord, because it's been rough times. I mean, like Celia knows, and Joy, just over the past few years, it has just been so much going on, and it seemed like it was nonstop for a while. And I was like, okay, Lord, I know you said you would never put more on me than I can bear, but it's getting heavy. Yeah, it's getting heavy, and I really started to withdraw and isolate seriously because I just felt like I didn't want to burden them with so much of my problems that was going on. So, but they were there and they wouldn't let me isolate. I actually kind of got into a little hiccup with my husband because we stayed out to 3 in the morning.
Oh my God.
I think it was 4.
Was it 4?
It was like 4 in the morning.
You guys, we were at the Madson. We went to see a movie. We got ice cream.
Or Corner Bakery.
We're at Corner Bakery.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And our husband started looking for us because
We hadn't been together.
it was, you know what, it wasn't a birthday. We just decided to get together. We had a girls' night for a movie night. And the top
From Spa.
Oh, this was
it was
girls' trip.
Yeah, and we were there and we sat
and the
there.
conversation got so deep.
Yes.
And so amazing and
We couldn't
life-giving.
wait. Yeah.
We were sitting there
And it
crying,
wouldn't
eating ice cream.
Yes.
Corner Bakery had closed down, and so before we know it, it's 4 o'clock in the
It was 4 in
morning.
the morning.
And our husbands are and we didn't realize they were texting and calling.
Oh, we didn't have
so now
phones
they're
out.
calling each other.
Yeah.
And
Actually, calling out of states, looking for photos.
Okay, that actually raises a question. How do your husbands feel about your group? And particularly knowing that you're praying about your marriages.
They love it.
They love it
Love it.
because they see.
Yeah.
They see the change in
Very
us.
supportive of it as well. I've never had my husband ever say, you going to another lunch or you're going to another. It's never been that kind of thing. Only that night when he came and had that GPS looking for me. He tracked my phone, y'all. He tracked my phone.
It was a late
I'm
night.
in the area.
Because we left, like we ate before, like we left like 7 o'clock.
We gone to dinner
We
and
had gone to dinner.
That was the only night
We had the burger.
we love us some dessert. So
Yeah.
we had to get some dessert. We love some dessert.
And just coming back to the
Yeah.
So even at the beginning, was there ever any hesitation on their part?
Probably.
Not mine.
Probably initially, just like, what do you guys? Because they would always joke about it. Y'all remember when? Because there's a couple times when we have gotten all of them,
Everybody together.
husbands and wives together, and they would joke.
Valentine's Day.
What do you?
Yeah, Valentine's
What do y'all talk about? We know. I mean, they obviously it's vulnerable for them too because they know that the original intent was to pray for them.
Yeah.
And so initially, I think my husband, I know a couple of others would joke about it, like you guys talking about it. But then it was really, they're like,
They saw the
"Please go to
fruit
prayer."
of it.
Yes.
They saw the
They saw
fruit
the
of
fruit.
it. They saw the fruit of
Let's go to
it.
prayer.
Yeah, and speaking of Valentine's, remember we had that amazing, we did Millicent planned like a really amazing Valentine's dinner. And we had prayers that we said to them. And you could, it was so
And
powerful.
we put them in the envelope.
We put them in an
Remember we gave them an
envelope.
envelope for them
that's such a
to.
good
It was beautiful. We
to
were
keep
cute
in their briefcase.
and sexy in Jesus' name.
White,
We had on red.
Hold on. Now, what now? What? Come on.
So we all had on red.
Yep, had on red.
And we sat across from our husband.
Yes.
It was a long table, and each of us sat across from our husband,
Yeah.
and we had chosen a prayer,
Sure did.
to speak over them, and we read it out loud, and you
Sure
can
did.
see it on their faces, like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And they even said, I mean, my husband was like, baby, I see the fruit. Keep going.
Keep
Yeah.
going.
Keep going.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's so
And then
great.
we have never, whatever has been shared, we've never seen it taken against the husband.
Right. Yeah.
Like we still, because some people like, wait a minute.
Right.
But we don't man bash. We don't hold it against them. It is all open and fair in love.
Yes.
So he's gone. He's
No, I
gone.
have to say, even in my situation, my girls, I remember one time they came to Denver for a birthday. And I had been going through some things, and my ex, he would have never known that they knew anything.
Yeah.
Because they always
They come up with a little sauciness.
Yeah, he was respectful.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Because we was about to get on a plane. We was about to get on a plane that night. You remember that? We were about to get on the plane.
Booking flight.
And then they said, "Oh, y'all gangster Christians."
Our spiritual mother shut it down.
Oh, we were getting ready to go.
I had gone through my last situation. It was very scandalous.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know who I
You send out a group text. Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning.
And I was up all night.
And they started booking tickets.
Yep.
They started looking for flights to come to Denver to my rescue.
Wow.
And our mentor, shut it
Shut it down.
She shut it down.
I called. I said, just want to let you know the plan. just wanted to let you know, Kathy, the plan, and if you want to come with us. And she said, you will not step foot in Denver.
That's how she talks. She's putting out everything.
I'm on the phone like, oh.
Okay, now I know we probably don't have a lot of time to get all the way into this, Chrystal, but y'all just brought up something else
Yes,
that's very
you did.
interesting.
They sure did.
That you just casually said. We just
have a
called our
mentor.
spiritual mother.
Yes.
So the
I would say sister.
Yeah, she don't want to be a sister.
She's a sister.
I understand, but the point is, an older, wiser woman,
Yes.
who you in some sense have submitted to her authority, and
That's
that
right.
she can say to you, "Don't step foot in Denver," and everybody cancel their tickets.
Yes.
So my question to you is for someone that's thinking, I don't have a mentor in my life. I don't have somebody who I have willingly sort of submitted myself to their authority. Is that something that you all asked her to be for you? Was that an organic thing that she just
Whose friend was she? Because everything kind of started. So she
Started with Pat.
Pat and Donna.
Pat and Donna.
She's Pat and Donna's first, and then
We were, my ex-husband and I were her children's youth pastors. So that's how she and I connected.
Okay.
From her kid,
And was it something that was a verbal, like, we're going to,
No.
She told us. I think she told us. I mean, if
Your house. We were at your house.
Yes.
We did our last prayer before you left to Denver.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
we had Kathy come.
Kathy
Kathy.
and that's when she made herself our, she was the one.
Yeah.
And that's when she appointed Pat and said, you're in charge.
And Pat was like,
But there were times we had prayer at your house one time, and Kathy was on. Yes, and Kathy was on FaceTime.
Yep.
Yeah.
She started it, and she was there. She was there the whole time. So she'll drop in sometimes.
It's just kind of organically happened. I think we all kind of knew and trusted her, and have gone to her, individually, privately, and it just
I
kind
didn't
of
even
happened.
really know her. She stopped me in Costco.
That's why I say she was. That's Kathy.
Yes.
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 like she like.
Here's what you're going to do.
Yes.
Here's what you're going to
Thus
do.
saith the Lord.
Yes. And you're like, okay.
Well, listen, you have kind of mentioned in, here and there throughout our discussion some of the fun things that you do, but just because y'all like being together and because you like having a good time together, besides dessert,
I was gonna say,
what are the things that you do together? Just
Eat,
Shop. I know y'all shop.
We like to shop.
We like to shop.
Laugh. Lots
We used
of
to do our
laughs.
trip to Miami every year.
Yeah, we used to.
We used to do a trip.
Travel.
Spa. We do love spa.
We need it's time.
It is time.
It's time.
It is
I'm
time.
gonna put this out here. So my birthday is the week after next, and I think I want to do spa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, since we all need that, it's going back to school time.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
ready.
just let me know when.
This will be the circle of prayer. Right.
And then we can go eat and get dessert.
Yeah.
I'll eat dessert that day.
I won't
Yes.
No
Right.
dessert.
Y'all came in here with the juicing and all this.
Yeah, Tammy.
You said
We won't be that day.
we won't be that.
That's Sherice and Sheila. They do.
We got Tammy.
They don't
They
pull me
don't put you in
We got a couple of special occasion things with husbands. Sounds like that you've done at least one special occasion thing.
Yes, for Valentine's Day.
Okay, anything else?
Children.
For people who are
Oh,
looking
the
for
children.
Kids. So,
Yes.
yeah, kids' birthday party.
Yeah, Tammy's really good about back to school stuff, and she's very intentional about keeping all the kids connected. And she's done little pool parties, back to school things for the kids,
Okay.
and had the husbands and everyone pray over them before they're going back to school.
I need to do that
which
here.
I love that. Which I truly love that because we need that.
That's true.
Definitely.
Yes, that's true.
So just what'd you say? Anniversary. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anniversary. Yeah.
That's great.
And sad times.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
It's been there too, where they stepped in and Lord Jesus, and just came, and I know, and even when Tim's dad died, my girls were hostess. They came and had everyone, told them to serve the food from the door.
Yes.
They're there. It sounds like you guys are there for each other in your life.
Yes.
But you're also there for each other in your lives.
Yes.
Just showing up and being a part of your life, even if that's just being a hostess at a homegoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so.
And I think what's so beautiful about what Chrystal just said is that in that, you also have given each other grace for when they can't show up.
Yes.
That there's because sometimes in friendship, the weight of, are they going to be mad at me if I don't?
Yeah.
That is a lot. High maintenance friendship is too hard.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's too hard. So that's so great that you guys just give each other grace. That's beautiful.
But the thing that is interesting about that is with this group in particular, you know that if they say, girl, I can't be there, but I am praying for you,
Yeah.
that they really mean it.
Really mean it. That's right.
lift up your name.
That's right.
And that's different probably than any other group. When people say, oh, I'm praying for you, they just kind of throw it away.
Yeah.
This group, you say, I need prayer, or I can't be there, but I am praying.
Or we'll send out a 911 text.
Oh, yeah.
To each other. Hey, pray. Or sometimes we've had to transition into, if we can't get together, we've done conference calls. Which has been nice too.
Yeah.
And it's so funny when we be getting our prayers in before that 10 o'clock hour comes or whatever. Because we know 10 o'clock, okay, they start prayer and it's like the door is shut.
Girl, I can't make it. Here's mine. Oh, yeah.
Make sure we send our requests.
And it makes
And we rotate the prayer. Oh, yeah. We rotate
That's
the
a very
prayer, too.
practical question.
The
Because an
hosting.
hour for 10 people sounds, for some people, be like, how can we actually share our request and how you leave time for prayer where you're not
Well, that's
talking,
why
trying to
Joy
share
said
the
we're not
request.
eating, we're not doing a whole bunch of other things.
So
We are praying.
what is the practical way the sharing of requests looks like, so that if you show up and then you have an hour to pray, how does that work? Like, what does
So
an hour look like?
we text in our prayer requests.
Okay.
Nobody gets
not
runaway
there.
train with the
If you're not there.
If you're not there,
Okay.
So we read them, okay, and then who's ever present, you say your prayer request, and then, okay, who will take Sheila's?
We kind of pray, like whoever you're next to.
Yeah.
You pray for that person. Yeah.
Get it?
There you go.
And then put the
That's what I'm talking about.
And then put the tissues.
And then, but I think when you said that, another thing we had to grow with is that everybody not being there.
Yes.
that was a struggle
Yeah,
to have.
who's ever hosting, you choose a date that's best for you.
Yes.
And whoever can come.
So sometimes it's 2, and sometimes it's 10, and sometimes it's 6.
Sometimes it's 3.
And sometimes 5 say they're coming, and by the time 10 o'clock comes, we're down to 2. So I think the gist of it is we still have it.
Yeah.
We have it.
Yeah.
We
Bible
can't.
says we're 2 or 3.
We're 2 or 3
So
together.
I'm saying,
Yes.
If it's just 2 of us, we're praying.
We're praying.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So we already have it.
That's some gangster war room stuff.
Yes.
Are the prayers scheduled?
From September to May. So
So you're scheduled out.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm November.
I'm just
I'm October.
next month.
So that's 9 months? 10
Yes.
it should be 10.
We don't have
So
to
you
do
each get a
date,
month.
but we know what month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pick our date.
You pick
and
our
then we'll
date.
send it out to the group.
Y'all have a calendar.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at Millicent's party, I pulled out the phone. I'm like, okay, give me your.
While we're here.
And then one time at one of your events, you were at one community church.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I went on and scheduled prayer around that.
I was gonna say, because I've seen y'all rolling.
So we prayed first.
It's gonna be a whole row.
Yeah. And then came to the
Yeah, prayed first, bought
Yeah.
a makeup bag so that we
yeah.
get cute.
And yeah, we did eat. Now that we did eat.
And then we came to see Priscilla.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Are there
Seeing
any
y'all together.
last thoughts, closing thoughts that you want to share with the woman who really wants friends? I'm telling y'all,
I believe you.
that, I mean,
Yeah.
by far the most frequently asked question or the statement that I'll hear has something to do with I need a mentor, or I need a friend. I don't have friends. I go to church, but I don't have anybody to call. There's nobody here for me. What would you say to that person who's watching this thinking, this is great, I hear it, I get it, but I still don't have people? What would you say to her?
One thing I would say is you have to be a friend. So I would self-evaluate to make sure that I'm being a great friend. And choose someone. Be bold. You know what? Girl, I'm looking for you know what? I see you in church Sunday.
And I
admire something about you, and you can say yes or no, but I'm gonna ask. I would love for us to, here's my number. That would be something. Someone you run into at the gym sometime. I mean, God just drops people in my spirit sometimes. I'm like, oh no. So you gotta be bold. If it's something you really need in your life and you feel like you wanna go after it, I think you have to be bold about it and take action on it and transition from I want and move into God lead me to where you want me to go. Show me that person you want me to connect with.
Because that's how the whole prayer group started. Like I said, I saw something on TV, I heard about it, and God said, why don't you start it?
Exactly.
I would have still been, I wouldn't have had y'all in my life.
Exactly.
I heard the Holy Spirit leading God. And as you were talking about this, and I heard the Holy Spirit say, be the change you want to be.
Exactly.
Instead of keep talking about what you want, be what you want.
Be what you want.
You want a friend, be a friend.
Be open to who the Lord puts in front of you.
Because it may not look like
It may not look like,
That's
right.
Good.
It may not look like what you thought.
That's real good.
It's not for us to put together.
Ooh, that's really good.
That's so good. That sounds great. I just say show yourself friendly. I mean, I love what Millicent said, self-evaluation. Are you a good friend? But a lot of times, I've come across women that say, I don't have any friends, but then I see them and they're kind of mean mugging and, and I'm like, if you're showing signs of that you're not friendly, then
Because you might actually be a friend and be the person who shows up, but you don't look approachable.
But you don't look
You just don't have a welcoming demeanor about you. That's good. Y'all, thank you.
Yes.
So,
Can I say one more thing about
yes, please.
girls.
I think you also have to be persistent in a calm way, right? Because whoever you might approach might be busy at that moment or might not be able to.
good.
But if you come back again and say, hey, give people grace
Yes.
in that, right?
good.
Give people grace in whoever God is leading you to. Give them grace and then be persistently calm. But don't give up on it and say, oh, she didn't call me back or she never, you know what I mean? Give that person grace and then approach again and then let the Lord lead you if that is right for you or not.
That's
right? So
right.
you can't just throw it away.
That's
Great. That's good. Thank you all.
Thank y'all so much. That's so
Thank you for having us.
thank you for having
Thank you for having us.
I know y'all getting everybody's schedules to be here.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all, let me tell you something. this is what I know, and I'm sure Priscilla, you can co-stamp this if you want to, but in many ways, numerous times during this conversation, I have heard like clear nuggets that are very practical that a woman can walk away with and say, okay, I can do that. Okay, I didn't know what we could do together, but y'all gave a bunch of ideas. I didn't know how to approach someone or maybe what I need to change in mind to be. Okay, but I can do that. Okay, I've been catty in the past or compared, but you know what? I can do that. I can choose to see what I love about them more than what I'm struggling to love about myself. I mean, very, very tangible and practical things. And I just want to thank you for sharing that, because I really believe that we love Jesus and we love the Bible and we love study, but sometimes we just need a girl to say, this is how I do it. This is what it looks
so
like.
True.
And I really want to thank you guys for doing that. And I want to thank you for doing that for me.
My sister circle.
Yes.
That's why we're gonna show up at their lunch.